What is going on, everybody? ASIC Eric in the garage again. I did get myself a new camera, so see what you guys think. Trying this out, see how it works. I don't know, we're in 1080p here, I think so. I'm gonna switch to 4K. Go to the 4K, has to be done. Here we go. 4K now, there we go. This is a Sony ZV-1, which is known as the vlogger's camera. I looked at a bunch of different things here and decided ultimately to go for this one. So it's an image camera and video camera. Put a picture of it in here so you can see it, because I can't take a picture of it, obviously. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. The video is about the fan controller. So we got a new fan controller. Came in the mail from Dillon Radiators, where these come from. Again, it's a Northern radiator, but you can't buy direct from them. So we're going to wire that guy in, and hopefully it works better than the last one. And we'll see how it goes. I got some new stuff, some new fuses, and I got some different connectors because I didn't like those pink ones. I said before, they never really worked that well. I've got another crimper, just in case the crimper was the problem. And then a bunch of fuses and stuff, inline fuses for the various places that I need them. So get all that going today. So let's get started. One of the nice things is I can use my tripod again. All right, here we have Mark II. Turn this thing around. See what I'm doing. Hello. Here's the new controller there. I shouldn't need most of this stuff in here. Looks like if I put the diode and stuff in here. Hang on a second. All right, let's try that again. This was packaged a little differently last time, for what it's worth. The wiring and stuff is not packaged this way. Get out of there. There we go. There's the controller, the temp sensor. I don't think I need the wiring. There, we got the fusible link from before, so we don't need that. I just have to redo these wires here to connect those. So this one is the ignition turn on, turn off, and that one is for the auxiliary. Get those set up. All right, so got the diode in here. It's still hot, sorry. Focus. There you go. This is the optional ignition turn off diode. So theoretically, if this is not connected, the fan should just run and do their thing. I need to check with them on how to hook this up. I think I need, if I'm going to use this, I need some kind of path to ground through a resistor or something. Because as I said in one of the previous videos, the ignition source coming in here is coming from a relay. So it's going to be on and then just floating. And this thing, I think, wants to be able to send current to ground to see that it's connected to an ignition source that's not on. So I probably need to put a resistor or something here. I might use another one of these big guys for this. So 200 ohm, I think. I don't remember anymore. Just something like that, so that there's a path to ground, so that this thing can do its thing. But so I just put these spade terminals on here. So this is the aux input from the cooling fan, ECM, AC, etc., and then this is the ignition shutoff. So we're going to leave both of these disconnected to start with because they're both optional, according to the tech sheet. And just hook this up with the temperature sensor, and then put the heat gun on it and see if it turns on by itself, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Got everything wired up again, so we got power coming in here, grounds here, fan out here. Nothing else is connected. I have the aux input here, but this isn't connected to anything. Is this this side of the connector here is open, so that thing's floating. Where's the other one? Green guy's not connected to anything. So that should work. I'll just put the temp sensor on there and it should work by itself. We'll see. Okay, we're off to a good start so far, as long as I wired that correctly. So we've got the power going into the box back there in the back, ground to the block, it's connected to the battery, the fans aren't running. This is how my last fan controller started, so it was good at first. I don't know why I didn't think of this last time. I got a temperature thermometer. So I'm gonna hit the heat gun, and I did that last time, but I didn't want to cook the thing, but I realized I have this, so I can keep an eye on it. So theoretically, I think this one's set to 160, 180, I forget. Let's put some heat on it and see if the fans turn on. Okay. Let's do it. Got 100 already. $40. $50. $60. $70. Limit of the heat gun here. Hey, hey, hey! All right, that worked. Now I'm going to try and get the wiring set up to try the auxiliary input and see what happens. Okay, so theoretically, if I touch that control wire to positive, the fan should turn on. And if I pull it off, the fan should turn off. I hope. This is where it all went wrong last time. Victory! Alright, so I can hear the difference now in these fans. You can probably hear it too when they spin up. It has that high-pitched squeal. It says in the instructions that it might do that. The other fan controller didn't do that. It just ticked straight on. There was no soft start. So that tells me there was something wrong with that controller, that its soft start circuitry was wrong and it just kind of ticked on and then it never ticked off again. So, sweet! That works. So let me go ahead and wrap all that wiring up there, and then we've got to switch out this binary switch for the trinary switch. Thanks for pointing that out, because that wouldn't have worked the way that I have it. Well, it would, but not exactly right. If you use a binary switch, what would happen is anytime the AC was turned on, the fans would turn on. And because it's basically, the binary switch is just a safety cutoff switch, so it's when the pressure goes too low or too high, it turns the compressor off. trinary switch, I didn't realize, has a different pressure sense, just different pressure set point for the fans. So it won't turn the fans on until the pressure reaches a certain level. So it's different than the safety cutoff switch. Anyway, let me get all that taken care of. Took me a while to find this thing. It was buried in a box somewhere. So, anywho, so the AC compressor goes on the black-green circuit, which connects to the power coming from the unit. And then the blue circuit is for the fans. Now in this diagram they have blue going to ground. In my case I'm going to connect it directly to the power here. So again, only when the AC unit's on, it doesn't really matter, but when the AC unit's on and this thing trips, it'll turn the fans on. So we'll join these two together. Here I'm going to put a fuse in this path here because I'm not really sure if there's a fuse in here anywhere. So I'll put a fuse in the path, join them together. And I gotta remember my colors and make sure I get them right. So here's this guy here. Okay. Alright, hopefully I did this right. So this is the power coming from the vintage air unit to control the AC. Fuse box, or inline fuse, goes into both the black and green and blue. Blue is for the fans. It comes out of here, goes into the purple wire, which goes into that fan controller box, and then the blue wire here ultimately goes over here. Is that blue in there? Can you tell? Focus. Yeah, blue. Okay. So that should do it. So now just hook this guy up. All right, and everything all mounted up in here. It's a little tricky because this was all wired up prior to screwing it in, so I had to run the wires backwards a bunch of times, twist to try and guess how many twists to get it to back to where it looked okay. I think I did all right. So those wires are all tucked up under here. Fuse is tucked down inside here. I put a 5 amp fuse on it. I don't think it needs a lot of power, but can always put a bigger fuse in if necessary. All this is done under here for now. I still have to figure out that green line coming in, that loose. These two go together somehow. I could connect them directly together, but like I said, I think I'm going to have to run a ground wire to that through a resistor or something. Also tidied all of this up here, put the ground wire in there. Got those bolts in so that I could do that. Connected the AC line here, and then I just zip tied them to the heater hoses and kind of buried them under there so you can't really see them. Let me look from this side. Looks pretty clean, I think. Okay, so that was victory. Thank you that worked out. Glad to see that. So I'll let everybody know that I was in communication with on that controller what the story is with this one here, but this one seems to work the right way, so that's good. So the only thing I really have left to test is that one wire, figuring out how to hook that up, and since it's coming off a relay, if there's any trickery I have to do there, but that will wrap up the wiring there as soon as I get that done. Under the hood here then, there's not really much left to do at that point. There's a wiring harness that comes across the back that has all the painless wires, the painless wiring harness stuff for the ignition that I didn't use. So in all likelihood, I'm just going to cap all of those wires and just tuck them inside a wiring harness and just throw them on the back of the engine there. I'll just leave them that way in case I ever need them down the road. And then next, I'm going to mount up the ECU, get that powered on, make sure it's working properly. And then pretty close to that, I'm going to be blocked until Pops gets back here, because I get the rest of the stuff I have to do under the car, the fuel lines and everything else, the vent lines. I got to get the evap canister in here. There's little things like that to tie up. Yeah, I got my COVID shot this week on Tuesday, so I'm good. My whole family here now, everybody's got shots, so we're all set. Trying to decide if I'm going to wait until I'm fully vaccinated before we get back together with Pops. I might. That'd put it at about 5 weeks from now. Pops is, both of my parents, they're fully vaccinated, they're good, but we just got our shots, so we got a little ways to go. Anywho, let me know what you think of the new camera. Anybody paying attention? The focus looks real nice. Focus is pretty fast. See how the color looks on the car and everything. I did some little test video and it looked better to me. Like if you look at the previous videos, you'd see like the summit signs were like shaking and stuff when I filmed it with the camera, and I really didn't like that. It was just all this weird jitter and stuff in the frame. But hopefully this is nice and stable and looks good. And it's 4K. Woohoo! All right, thanks everybody. Catch you on the next one.